So Skype, like I've offered to Microsoft many a times just to let me go up to wherever Skype is, just let me lock them
with
in
a
a room
baseball bat
for 30 minutes, and I will do some motivational speaking like you've never seen with the Skype team. So, Paul, we chat on Skype every single day, unfortunately, with each other, and it finally got to the breaking point. Just with it starts with messages not syncing across device.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's like you send me a message on the PC, I look at my phone, oh, it's unread. Even though we've had a 30-minute conversation on the PC, it's still telling me the messages are unread. People getting dropped from video calls. The worst one, though, the absolute worst one is the ringing issue. And this is actually very easy to replicate. All you got to do, go to outlook.com, sign in with Skype, and have someone call you. And if you have the Win32 app open, when you answered on the Win32 app, it will ring for all of eternity on the Outlook tab.
I think this has happened to Paul many times.
By the way, yes, not to interrupt, but two things that literally happened today was when they called me from TWiT to start the show.
Yeah.
My PC didn't ring, but one of my phones did. I don't know why that one, but for some reason it's ringing. Okay, at least I found out there was a call coming in. But I experienced exactly the same thing. I was doing. It was actually with Raphael. We were transferring files over Skype, and it was the web app that was making the sound. And I'm like, why? What's making that chiming sound? What is that? And it was in OneDrive in this case. But yeah, they really need to get their house in order.
And that's not the end of it. If that was just the only issues, I would maybe sleep a little better. There's two more that drive me nuts. It's when you get three. It's when you can't mark a message read, where in Skype it just permanently says you have one unread message from somebody and you can't get rid of it. Or my personal favorite is when a random message from like a week ago gets marked as unread and you have to scroll all the way up in the conversation to see it. Or if you switch machines, like Paul and I probably do frequently, when you log into that machine, it is like a seizure of Skype notifications popping up on the bottom right.
Previous Skype notifications that were already handled somewhere else.
Right. Yep. And Microsoft is telling us that 3 billion minutes of Skype calling or usage is happening every day. They said this at Build. And
2 billion of which was people just like screaming at Skype, because it didn't work right. It's just like, what the
they have such a widely used platform. And Paul, you pointed out and said, hey, why don't we switch to Line and get away from this? But the problem is, and much like many other people, is everybody's already on Skype. So you got to get everyone to transfer over. And
no, it's one of those things before it gets out of your mouth, or right after it gets out of your mouth, you realize, well, of course I can't. We can't just switch. You are where people are. Back in the day, we would have used Windows Live Messenger because that's where everyone was, and that we know, or whatever. And now we're on Skype, and we're stuck with it. We deserve each other.
Yeah, and the thing is Microsoft lost 18 to 24 months of development time on Skype. So what they did with Windows 8, there was a modern app, they called it then, and they had it, and it was fine. You use the modern app on Windows 8. Then we go to Windows 10. They say, hey, we're killing that modern app. We're going to build 3 independent universal Windows platform apps. Why they thought 3 were going to be great, who knows? And we're also going to support the Win32 desktop client. And so what did they announce last week or the week before? They're killing the 3 independent universal apps. They're going back to 1 single Skype app. And then they're also killing the Win32 desktop app. And that's basically 18 to 24 months. And we know this because the screenshots that they used to show off the Universal app were from when they were piloting Windows 10 frameworks. Yeah. And like the screenshot was almost 2 years old.
That was really funny. Well, but that shows you how closely they are aligned with Windows. Does anyone have an up-to-date Windows 10 screenshot we could use? Yeah, here's one from the preview from 2007.
Yep, pretty much. And it's
crazy.
It's embarrassing. I don't know how. I mean, we're using Skype right now to do this podcast, and it's really embarrassing for Microsoft how bad this application platform has become. And it's not just one user. Skype has really just dropped in quality, and I don't know. I'm waiting for something to come sweep it out of the way, but unfortunately, that hasn't happened yet.
Well, it's not just that it's bad. It's that it's their messaging platform, and if you accept that messaging is the next big thing, and Microsoft's talking about bots and all that. What are those bots going to be for Facebook Messenger?
Yeah,
I mean, you have a platform, develop it, for crying out loud.
Yep.
And you killed
there's a lot of
Windows
talk.
Messenger.
I know.
Yeah.
What is this now? I saw somebody said there's a new Messenger showing up somewhere. Is
It's
that
probably one of those 3 apps he's referring
it's
to.
just
So
part
on
of that
phone
family? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So you see phone, Messenger, and Skype Video, which are the 3 apps.
but
and
they're
so,
all really Skype,
right.
sort of.
Yeah. But they work.
Like the devil, Leo. Its names are Legion.
Skype. Its name is Legion. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Strategy. I don't know. So, I was saying, I don't know, I probably just said this publicly or on Skype or Twitter or something, but, Microsoft should just buy Slack so we can have another 2 years where we spin our wheels waiting for them to integrate this into everything, and then nothing will ever work again, There's so many little basic things, like they enabled that functionality Brad was talking about a long time ago, where you could have Skype conversations in a pane on the web when you're using, OneDrive or Outlook.com or whatever. Never occurred to them that there should be some little checkbox in there where you could turn it off if you don't want it, or maybe you don't want the notification sound to come off, or just maybe turn off notifications or whatever. I mean, Skype always assumes that if you're using Skype anywhere, you always want to be using it, even though you didn't choose to have Skype be there. It's just there for you, and it's a horrible, horrible design. It's really basic stuff. This is that finishing the job thing I always complain about with Microsoft in general, which they're not very good at. But it's worse than that because they didn't think through how this stuff was going to work. They just blew it out and put it out in the world, and now they don't fix it.
If they could just fix the message read notifications, that'd probably solve half the battles. But I don't understand why it's pervasive and they can't just. I'm sure it's a hard technical challenge, a hard math problem, or whatever they say. But it's getting to the point where other platforms are doing things so much better.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know. I don't understand.
Is it a strategy tax thing? I mean, is it warring divisions? What is the issue?
So that's actually
someone said something about that on Twitter, right? That
well, I think it was in the comments on Thurrott.
Okay, it might have been the same person because it was Office 365 versus Skype kind of thing.
I heard that, but I've also heard, at least kind of just reading through the rumor mill, that the Skype team is still angry that Microsoft bought them, and that some of the people that have stuck around are just very haphazardly just building this stuff.
That's great. That's great.
But whatever it is, they need to. I don't know if it's management on that side.
Partnering with the French, they don't really care, but they'll sign the paper. I don't know.
But how long has this been? I mean, it's been years, right?
Oh yeah.
What, I mean, come on, get off the.
Specifically, since probably about October, it is when it went really downhill.
Since we're going down,
there's got to be more than that. There's got to be more. Than that.
Microsoft has always allowed Skype to run as its own. It's like it's its own company. You'd never know Skype was part of Microsoft. It's Skype. Skype.com, Skype blog. They have ridiculous blogs that have stupid names, and it's not clear which one is which, and I don't know why, but they do. And they always talk about Skype today released this, or Skype did this, and Skype did this. Guys, Skype is a feature of Microsoft. It's in Office, it's in Windows, it's everywhere. You got to absorb this thing. This is getting stupid. Like, this is what happens when you let the inmates run the asylum. If Microsoft has just publicly declared, and I think they did, that messaging is the future platform, they need to get this under control. This is really stupid. It's bad. This is something that impacts us literally every single day. And they're talking about doing all this stuff, Skype bots, blah, 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 Interesting. Could we fix the basic problems that the platform has right now before we move on to doing anything else? I don't know.